Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual, you. Today, I would like to speak about awe and wonder as stimulus for inspiration. The more we are participating in the world with what we're doing, with our inner being, with our thoughts, feelings, but also with anything outside that can be observed and perceived and kept in a certain dignity and, well, as I said, wonder. It's about that wow, whoa, wee. That feeling, if we do continuously put stimuli and stimulate this area, it will become stronger and stronger over time. Just like I am using these examples many times with language or mathematics or anything you decide to truly practice and become better at over time, you will become better at over time, and it becomes an autonomous state at some point, where that becomes your more default state of being. Yes, we do have our days where we might be a little more reduced in good moods and a joyous state, but it does not hinder us truly from revere and respect the situation and where we at the moment. For is it one thing that is true and truth is that no bad feelings and no reduced moods and such last forever. Sometimes we have to be a little bit awake and a little bit outside of our default normal state to see where we need to observe and learn more about ourselves. And when we are in a more sour mood, let's say, we definitely are going to notice certain things we are not overly fond of ourselves with. As an example, by us becoming aware of this, we wish to do something about it. By having awe, wonder, and not too much beating oneself up, but acknowledging where we do have the necessity or where we should cultivate a different behavior or different inner sentiments. There is just a matter of trust here, a matter of confidence, and a matter of, I know you will help me, life. I know you will meet me where I need to be. I know you will give me what I need for my inner growth. So the more we utilize our I, which is situated and embodied in our blood actually, and that is where heat also emanates. We are within our nervous system because the blood and the nervous system are highly intertwined. And also the same with the glandular system and also with the metabolic limbic system. They all hang together, and that is why our physical body, etheric body, astral body, and ego are, well, as I just said, the physical body has its physical embodiment and manifestation with our metabolic limbic system. Our etheric body or life body is situated in our glandular system, our life regulatory system. That is where also feelings and emotions and such also are catalyzed and triggered when it kind of shows up within us. And we have the nervous system where we have pleasures, pains, longings, dreams, and so on. Astral body. These are of course just physical manifestations and reflections of a much bigger, a much grander world that is we already are embedded and participated within. But we also have, just like plants are fully etheric with a tinsy bit of physicality, let's call it small granules of minerals as to make it visible. It barely is any minerals in it though, but in relation to us or rocks or such, it has barely none, barely anything. It's more of an etheric body without the nervous system. Once you have a nervous system, you include movement within it. That is where the animal come in. So if a rock had a life body, it would become a plant. If we are to use that, although a rock cannot just transform to a plant, it's more that the plant is living imagination. Just see all the variations of forms and shapes of the plants. It's literally an artistry in nature at its best. Then, if you introduce a nervous system into the plant, it will become an animal. If we introduce the ego to the animal, it becomes a human being. For that is what the human being is, our I. That is what distinguishes us from any other being on this planet. We can stop, pause, contemplate, and reflect right within us and not necessarily participate in any form of instincts or such that is necessary, for we have a lot of freedom outside of sleep, eating, toilet, and all of this. That is necessities. But outside of this, in the artistic, in the moral, in our choosing, in our interests, we have a lot, if not immense amounts of say. So for us to become interested in this, wonder and awe is, well, our most valuable ally. For when we put ourselves in the state of joy and appreciation, of gratitude, of thanks, while we observe, while we experience, even in the darker moments, we are showing love. Gratitude is literally some of the purest form of love you can have. For you are giving something from yourself out to something else. You could also be grateful for yourself, but you can only push it to so far, because we have all participated in this world and have had help from others. Life has given us a variety of things that makes it pretty clear that we alone have not gotten where we are. We have had a lot of help from others, from the higher worlds, from life, and so on. But that is not the point. The point is the gratitude, wonder, awe, reverence. These feelings, it's an enthusiasm, it's an initiative to participate and to also cooperate and dance with life. And that is a choice. That is something we have to, within ourselves, hold ourselves to, more almost like an oath, as a promise to oneself, that we will not deviate too much from what we have morally set for ourselves, and to not become tyrannical, to not become to any of the extremes, the utter lack of care or the overzealous caring. These two are extremes. In the middle here is perfect as always. No matter what area you find in life, the middle path is always the most balanced, because you can see the whole picture. You can see where things are especially polar opposites or polarizations. They are literally made for each other. Without each other, they are meaningless. And that is where the middle comes in. We find meaning in everything. And if people think that it is a, dull or indecisive, or that's not it. No. We decided to have a moral standpoint, to observe everything and to not take too much into bias, even if certain things is more inclined to our bias, or if something is less inclined to our bias. Sometimes life is so much more complex and variable than that. But by having a certain amount of, as I have mentioned, we are the fulcrum of the scale, balancing the two arms, keeping them stable and evening both out. For we need both meticulousness and dreaminess. We need softness, we need hardness, we need all of them. So if you only incline to, let's say, just to use an example, to the left brain or to the right brain, Of course, if you are left brain, you will incline more towards the meticulous, the detail oriented, and the precise. But it does not hinder you from cultivating the imaginary, the image cultivation, the creativity of our inner being, the mobility, the flexibility of this. And by having them together, you are becoming you have a double power on your hand here. So it's all about, of course, as we said, you will always lean towards one or the other based on what our strengths and weaknesses are, but to take all of these different faculties into consideration, you will come to understand that all of them are useful in the end. So, yeah, I think that is what I will leave you with today. Thank you so much for listening to me. May Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, ancient masters of old, ancestors from every incarnation, bless, protect, guide, and love you on your beautiful journey. And may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live, thrive, being creative, inspirational, and healing to the world, so others can choose to follow when the time is right. Thank you so much. See you. Love you. Goodbye.